The common thread of hauntings in and around this particular region of Vermont, the towns of Poultney and Fairhaven and Castleton, West Paulet, and then over in New York neighboring areas such as Granville and Hebron, the common denominator seems to be that of either abandoned or active slate quarries, which is a known material that happens to soak up energy, whether it be positive or negative, from past human life and their activities.
It's residual haunting.
Residual hauntings,
It just plays back the same
over and
activities over and over and over again, good or bad.
So it's not like it's a bad feeling or a good feeling, but there is a feeling, and there can be an eerie feeling, uncomfortable feeling.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, uncomfortable.
That's what we've noticed. Every town that you mentioned all popped up on our internet search as to connections between slate and hauntings and spiritual activity, weird energy sources. It's just very interesting.
There can be a sense of foreboding.
You know, if slate hadn't come back, maybe it would have been a decent thought, a good thought to have created eco parks where the slate quarries used to be, and fill them in with dirt and plant trees and have paths and hikes, and rather than just leave them
it's creating
ripped up.
Like a huge conduit for energy absorption. I mean, the spiritual absorption, it's, by having, that much slate in one particular area, it's like you've got a big pit full of, it's conjuring energy and all sorts of weird stuff. I mean, it's just bizarre.
And they dot the landscape. They are, in fact, fairly well hidden, but then you go down a particular road.
And it's right there.
And,
you're right on top of it.
It's very unsafe. I mean, thankfully, they seem to be far enough from neighborhoods where there's little kids that can just go wandering in. But there's some ravines that are quite deep, and you can lose your footing easily. And I know that people have dumped cars and all kinds of things at the bottom of pools of water and quarries where they're basically just not seen for years. So anything could be at the bottom of any of these quarries. And of course, if there happened to be a body tied into one of these cars that's dumped, then of course you have that energy, which again is soaked up into the material.
The slate,
and even less of a menacing tone. Steve Chamberlain, who runs Dutch's Farms, he used to have his farm over near one of the quarries in North Poultney, and he moved his family because there would be blastings all the time. He found it very, very unsettling to human and plant life.
It is.
So they went up. They now live in the Castleton area.
And you do notice when you go on Route 30 north of Lake St. Catherine that the vegetation kind of thins out and it's less lush. I mean, obviously it's not a barren desert, but when you round a couple of bends, you kind of notice just the vegetation seems to be thinner.
It's different,
It is different.
It's browner, it's more twiggy, it's more spiny looking, it's not, I don't know, it's not what you see in southern Vermont, it's not what you see in the whole vein of Manchester, Arlington, Dorset, Wallingford. It's just it's different.
And not that we're big fans of Manchester, but we've never gotten any kind of eerie
weird feeling there. I mean, other than the town's own economy being strange, but nothing, no kind of haunted feeling.
No.
Which is,
it's funny you mentioned Dorset because they have the huge marble quarry there.
Right, but I
Which
guess
is now
marble is
used as
different.
a swimming hole, so maybe that
marble
makes it
doesn't harbor. Yeah, marble doesn't harbor any spirit activity. I guess the stone itself is too dense, but slate's more porous for whatever reason, and it draws in more energy than marble. So, because that quarry doesn't have any underlying weirdness.
And interestingly enough, in Poultney, there's areas where you do feel serenity and you don't get that feeling, and one of them happens to be the cemetery on the hill. We've never had any kind of bad feeling, and of course, that's in a cemetery.
And it's also way up above everything.
Yeah, it's high on the hill, and it is green and lush, unlike the valley that it sits above, that it looks over.
Well, that's also the road that goes to East Pulteney, the one that's tiered up higher. That road heading right into East Pulteney. I mean, the old man Bob lives in a beautiful house on that road, and his house is very peaceful, but it's way up. If you're standing in the backyard of his house, you're actually looking down onto the village. You're not in the village. It's pretty far, removed, even though it's right there, but as far as, height-wise, it's much higher.
And it seems like the further you drive away from the area where there's all the slate quarries, that feeling starts to wash away from you. Like you head south from West Pollitt towards Rupert, and that feeling that's kind of inexplicable kind of dissipates as you head away from it.
It's just an unsettling feeling. It's not anything bad or anything good. It's just a feeling of something is not at ease.
Something is off.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, it's just the vent.
Oh, that was weird.
The wind.
Yeah.